as well as he would have wanted. So that's one of his 3 attempts now burned. He takes, what were we saying, the automatic reset back down the hill, and something that is great to do in the virtual world, Peter, something that you can only dream about in the real world.
Yeah, so we've got the next level racing Chinook helicopter, which is going to transport the cars back down to Glen House so they can start off again. That's what they're trying to reach, right up to the top of the mountain, of course, and you get that change of surface at the top, which makes it super exciting. And you look at the drivers that have won this event in recent years. It's been held 4 times since 2011. David Higgins, an incredible rally driver, both in a Subaru, was won it twice, and then Travis Pastrana, again in a Subaru, has won it the last 2 runnings. The record being a 5-minute 28.6. So we'll see if our virtual drivers can match that.
I hear the second driver rolling off and away. The good thing about this race to the summit is the driver's so excited to bring us behind the scenes as well. There's a smattering of the drivers, many in virtual reality, which is really intriguing to see. We don't often get to see that at the top level of sim racing, but on the dirt oval and dirt road side of things, it's increasingly used by drivers seeking a bit more immersion. Some of them have motion simulators as well. Lindsay Hobbs is the next driver then up on deck, another one of the Fiestas that begins the climb up through the first part of the run. The Excalibur Esports number 22, who based on the information submitted, a 3rd generation dirt driver who started racing age 10 in go-karts. I mean, he's going to be enjoying this sort of grip battle where you're always just trying to, Peter, find the grip around you.
Yeah, and getting as close to that limit as possible without chucking it off into the scenery, and it's a pretty scary run up here, so close. And I can imagine with those virtual reality headsets, those drivers that are running them, the immersion must be incredible. You see a lot of the road drivers here on iRacing, the circuit racers, they tend to use a triple screen setup at the top level, but much more virtual reality. I wonder if that's also when you're getting around the hairpins too. You want to look around the hairpin and look up the hill where you're wanting to go. So it could well be why that's the case. So we'll see if we can get our first representative time on the board. 1 minute 31 in the first sector. See how this compares up there, or what we can set with this Fiesta.
Still a long way to go. Next driver, I think, is already being released, and Sean Winkler in the number 720 will be the next driver to jump around, as Lindsay Hobbs had a moment, and, well, I think very close to disaster as, whoa, Sean Winkler's already done with his first attempt, has taken the Chinook back to pit lane.
This is a busy Chinook. I hope we've put enough fuel in it to make it up and down the mountain. So it's going to be fast and furious tonight. Lindsay Hobbs, he's still going, making his way further up the hill, climbing up towards that summit, 1,900 meters or 6,260 feet, depending what nomenclature you prefer. In 7th, off into the trees. We have, I don't think, our last crasher of the game.
I mean, that's about as early as you can wreck on a run. And Sean Winkler, I mean, what do the kids say? Hashtag YOLO?
Well, certainly you don't live for very long with that one. So Winkler, yeah, another run scrub. So Lindsay Hobbs can put himself in a good position early simply by just making it to the top here and getting that time there. And you can imagine how many times these drivers have done this hill climb, how many failed runs, or where they think, oh, I'm on a great run, I'm ready, I can do this, and then you get towards the top and you just make one mistake and it's all over and you've got to start again.
Has gotten pretty high through the climb, I will say, and now is onto the gravel, which is where you start to feel a little bit more confident on the spec of tyre that they run. It's keeping it well within the middle of the surface as well, which is quite important because there are a couple of switchbacks here and there that you want to just keep an eye on so that you don't make a mistake like
massive.
that. And he's rolled off the cliff, and like Peter was saying, oh, he doesn't need the Chinook to get down. He's rolling all the way back down to Glen House by himself.
So close, he was nearly there. He was onto the dirt section at the top. He could see the finish line almost, and a huge roll off the side there. And I think we might see a few drivers getting caught out with that transition from the pavement to the dirt. And there it is in well, all its wasn't gonna. I don't think
Glory?
glory is the right word. Yeah, in all its glory, yes, much more like it.
I mean, this is you don't even get to see exactly how it happened there, just the unfortunate aftermath. Yeah, not the first incident, but it's the first run. You can afford to make mistakes like this, Peter. You can't do it if it's your final run and you're still not on the board.
Well, that's it. You've got to get on the board. I think you want to take the first run easy. Get a number on there and just build up from there. As Justin Robichaud is going to try and do that in the first of our Subarus. So we've seen a few wrecked Ford Fiestas already. Let's see if we can get the Subaru, of course, winner of this event for the last 4 runnings. They only hold it every 3 years, so it's a special event to be able to take part here at Mount Washington in New Hampshire.
And of course it was scanned because Travis Pastrana was going off to try and compete in it once again, and iRacing and him worked together, and what a fantastic opportunity it was to add, well, something new into the mix. Robichaud is rising up steadily towards that crucial point on the track where he will transition. We can take a look on board with him, and not just at the, well, virtual reality look, but the feet dancing away on the pedals as well.
That's very cool, and yeah, the heart rate monitor. That's awesome. 99 on the heart rate monitor, and I do like the retro Toyota sticker on the VR headset. Of real top marks for detail, and of course the Stormtrooper fan club as well. Yes,
watching and supervising behind.
There's also a soda stream machine there too that you've got to keep hydrated, very important, and a Tom Brady jersey alongside a Canadian flag. There's a lot going on in this shot.
There is a lot going on, but now he's onto the gravel. This is where, of course, Lindsay Hobbs made the mistake, and watch the right foot. It's never really fully planted, and there's a lot of, like we said, dancing around, just playing with the weight transfer of the car right now, and just, I've got to say, the hands hard at work, yoinking down on the shifter and the handbrake potentially as well. Hard opposite lock.
I love that big chunky handbrake to just yank hold of. I mean, this is basically the sim racing version of the climb dance video with Ari Vatanen, watching the fancy footwork there. Now, are we going to get our first time on the board, Arjuna? Let's see. I don't want to jinx it. We're nearly there. We're getting to the top, onto that barren, rocky area near the top of the climb. Can Justin Robichaud put our first benchmark time?
He's still got, what, a good 60 seconds to go, and, well, if you get 4 wheels in the air and you're not pointed straight in a situation like that, it could all go wrong, but at least so far, seemingly not worried about the challenge in front of him. 2 more drivers have already been released. Zach Blanche is the next driver up in the queue. Yoni Palaneva's been released as well. And this is great. This is the kind of thing that Peter, 10 years ago on iRacing you could only dream about, but now we get to do it as Robichaud rises now. A couple of corners left to go.
Let's see what the time's going to be then for Justin Robichaud. Looking really smooth and in control here. It's been any time the car's tried to kick out of shape, he's been on top of it. Great look here, great insight to see what the drivers go through in the cockpit. I would imagine the heart rate now just climbing a couple of extra beats, over 100 beats per minute now. It's a little skip over the jump here. And should get a time on the board.
And he's happy with that one. Thrilled with it. A 506 means that, whoa, the emotion's still going as the car flips while he's still in virtual reality. He says he's climbed up Mount Washington before. I never think as fast as that.
I get a feeling that might be a personal best. I love that emotion. There is nothing worse than when someone puts together a fast lap or wins a race and they're just expressionless. There's no fun in that for them or for us. That is what we like to see, the drivers getting excited, and that's a great benchmark time. That's, well, to put it in a bit of perspective, it's 22 seconds quicker than Travis Pastrana's real-life record.
I mean, that's the commitment that you can bring in the sim. Zach Blanche is going to be next up, and he's, well, got one of the coolest sim rigs that you can get, I think, because that, I'm pretty sure, is a real dirt chassis converted over into a sim rig.
Is it a sprint car?
It looks too big to be a sprint car, is the thing.
I suppose so. Yeah, it is. I mean, that's full factory. That is really cool. And he's got, are those fans above his head?
Yeah, but they're not spinning right now.
Oh.
We'll have to ask him if we can what is going on in that number 2 machine. He says he's a real-life V8 dirt modified driver, so maybe that is what the chassis is, and previous Australian dirt karting champion. So in that Fiesta, we'll see how he compares to the Subaru that's already set the time. We'll see if there's going to be as much emotion, although I think for a moment there got very, very close to the outside of the track, and now just has that left-hander before the run to the line.
Well, 5:06 is the time to beat then here for Zach Blanche. Can he get it? Oh, excuse me, 5:07.8 is Justin Robichaux's benchmark time, and it's close. 5:06.4. Oh no, excuse me, it's just adjusted there. 5:07.9. It's 0.069 between them in the favour of Robichaux.
69 thousandths of a second. And, well, I got to tell you, let's cut back to Zach Blanche right now. I don't blame him with the hands crossed there. 69 thousandths, what more could you ask for?
What more could we ask for? It's game on. This is just the first run, Arjun. I don't think my heart rate monitor is going to be able to handle this one. Let's see what Yoni Palaneva will be able to do, running without the VR headset. Just going with the what looks like a single screen in front of him there.
Looks very, very focused right now as he begins to crest up towards the top. Has finished in the top 5 of RX1 on Racecraft action before. Says he's an ex-ice track racer. I think that probably stands you in good stead for challenges like this where you're dealing with the different transitions between the various surfaces. Remember, it's just that long left-hander that then leads you up towards the line that he's got left to come. 5:07.833, the benchmark that Robichaux has laid down. It was 69,000 slower for Zach Blanche. I don't know if Yoni Palaneva is going to make it that close. He's just got now that run to the timing beam. He keeps it on the thick and narrow as well to give him some credit, and is a full 1 second quicker, and a puff of relief there as he makes his way to the top with a time on the board.
Wow, and I wonder, does he have more in the tank? Because he seemed pretty non-committal about that. 5:06.6, so 1.1 seconds to the good. I think Yoni Palaneva's got more in the tank there. I mean, you saw just how excited Justin Robichaux was. Is that all he's got? That's the question. Or can he extract some more time? And how much quicker is the benchmark going to get?
We are still waiting for, again, the 2-time winner of this event, Christian Steenberg, the likes of Josh Fox, iRacing Rallycross World Championship race winner, Ilari Lamin-Sivu's in the field as well, Connor Parisi. Those are some like and Jacob Foss. I would be remiss if I did not mention J-Bob before I get shouted at by someone in the Nitro Circus sim racing community. Trevor Teal, don't shout at me just yet. But yes, I think there are still some big names left to come, and we think there are times underneath 5 minutes. Question is, will that be on the first run, or Peter, will they save those attempts for the second and third runs?
Well, maybe they've just got to go flat out every single time they're on track, because nothing less will do to really take this Race to the Summit title. Toby Ward in the number 66 Ford Fiesta, taking big risks, got the car pulling some big angles there, hopping over the jumps in that Ford Fiesta RS for Boosted Motorsport.
Yeah, it's good to see Boosted Motorsport, who we've seen plenty of across the different things. Augustin Duelian is running up toward the top. Stead Miller, by the way, has become the latest driver to have an issue, and so as we wait to see the latest time on the board, we take a look at the replay, but really it's just a Ford Fiesta finding its way into some trees.
Not the first time we've seen it, and I doubt it will be the last. It's just a tiny error there. Just got one wheel onto the grass. It's a good job this is virtual. Wowee. I doubt rallycross cars they're not really designed to go into trees. Rally cars, at some point in their life, will end up in the trees, but rallycross cars not so much, so it is a good job that this is virtual. Let's see what Augustin Delien can do, coming up towards the top of the mountain. Not going to be quickest, unfortunately.
He is just a little bit down on speed, but sees the checkered flag, and that's the most important thing of all. We'll give it a bit of a bounce across the line. 5:15.267, so he's down in the bottom of the ranking so far, but still with plenty of drivers to run, and at least he is on the board. Most important thing. Well,
how important could that be? You know, if you're a driver, you've got it wrong in the first run and then you make a little mistake in the second run, all of a sudden you go into the third with no time on the board, and then you don't put your best time on the board because you're just trying to safely get up the mountain. So yeah, getting one on the board early, I think there is an advantage in that. Toby Ward climbing up now, full power from nearly 600 horsepower in that Ford Fiesta RSWRC, and whoa, big nose pointing to the sky jump there too.
And as the time stands, 4:19, 4:20 has already gotten past the gravel section. Now this, I think, is going to be a half-decent run, but I don't think that it's necessarily going to challenge Joni Palaneva. He has hit some sort of tree or barrier because the right front looking much worse for the wear, but as we take a look on board, he's already got the champagne glasses dialed up behind him. Oh, just has the left-hander left to come, and it's already trending towards a probably 5:10 or so.
Up he comes then. First sector was very competitive. It must be said. So he's got good pace, and like you said, he's got the champagne ready to crack open the bubbly if he's able to be the king of the hill here and win this Race to the Summit event. Up towards the right. 5:10. Well, good guess, Arjuna.
Okay, the trends, you get better at it the longer we go, but I have a feeling that once we get to the really fast drivers, throw all expectations in terms of commentator predictions out the window. We'll take a look once again at two more drivers rolling out. David Schofield on the top, Francois Martel down below, and I think good to see the Beetle back out there on track. Not many of them rolling around iRacing competition, but Peter, at least there's one for us to see here today.
I love it. That's just what we like to see. And actually, it should be, it should be a good hill climb car, actually, with the engine out the back. And yeah, it's, of course, got some of its origins, of course, with Porsche as well, with the rear engine, which makes it a great hill climb car as well. So I know they're a silhouette car before you climb down my neck, but we can use our imagination at least.
Onto the gravel goes David Schofield, and this is where, when we were watching the footwork of Justin Robichaux, we were just noting how the right foot was never really fully planted to the floor. It was just trying to keep it within the straight and narrow. That is right around where Lindsay Hobb had his off. Fortunately, going to be able to navigate through that and doesn't slide too far through the long right-hand hairpin, as finally back onto the tarmac as another driver in virtual reality works around. And no, the camera is the camera moving to follow him?
I wonder if he's got a camera assistant who's doing some filming as he's driving along, quite possibly. But you can see how much of a kickback there is from the steering wheel. Really firm force feedback to get that full experience of what it's been like wrestling one of these cars up the hill here at Mount Washington. You can see you're just flat to the boards all the way through here, trying to just be as brave as you can, and then when it comes to a braking zone, be as late and deep on the brakes as possible. Interestingly, I didn't go for a jab on the handbrake, just wanted to keep it nice and clean and tidy.
Whatever camera assistant there is, for some reason it decided the focus initially should be on the wheel, and now we get the full run. Just has the left-hander to come, I think, before that run to the line, so winding through still, not trending to Joni Palaneva's time, but handbrake, I think, one of those things that, especially here on iRacing, drivers tend to caution against it more than advise people to go rushing into ill-advised locking of the rear tires. Here's the left-hander, though, that brings you on that run to the line. Again, a 5:06.676 is the benchmark that Palaneva has set. It's going to be closer than I thought it would be. The checkered flag flies, and it's a 5:05.800. It ends up being actually 3/10 slower, but for a second, I thought it was faster.
Oh, good run, though, there. From David Schofield in the number 27 Subaru 507.0. Now, read into this what you will. We have 3 Subarus at the top.
Yes, but we only have 6 times.
True.
It's
but that's 3-0 to the Subaru then.
The reason why I say that is because we now have two favorites, I think, heading out on track. Yes, Francois Martel is up towards the gravel section, so he's almost done, but this is a feisty young man, Jacob Rafoss, out of the Nitro Circus sim racing team. The fact that he's gone for the Fiesta, I think, is a bit of a statement. He has won many championships in the Subaru STI across a rallycross competition, and defending champion Christian Steenberg is back and ready to go once again, trying to make it 3 in a row. He is also in the Fiesta, and so that's why I say, at least for now, Peter.
Okay, well, the Beetle's just going to blow them all off the mountain anyway, so let's see how much the Beetle's going to win. Oh no, well, but that might be that. You know how you're saying you believe in the commentator's curse?
I don't know if I'd say that was necessarily a commentator's curse, Peter, because that already happened.
Oh, okay, good. Well, that's
this is a replay. Don't worry. He did. This is the advantage that I was saying about it being a practice session. If it was a qualifying session, that would be run invalidated. He's still going in that Beetle and hop, skipping and jumping his way to the top.
See, that's the spirit of a Beetle, the plucky Beetle. It's like Herbie. There just wants to get to the top, whatever happens for Francois Martel. Also, you know, yes, it might not be the fast. If you've had a mistake, it's not going to be your fastest run of the day, but it just gives you a little bit of an extra practice and a little bit of a kind of familiarization run of the conditions and how the road grip level is as you progress your way up at the mountain here for Francois Martel. And I think he's the only driver in a Beetle. Yes, he is. So he's holding up the honour of Volkswagen.
Indeed, he is flying the flag, and VW did have their fair share of success in rallycross competition, let's not forget. So it is maybe not in this guise, but the VW brand has seen plenty of success. That was very close to stepping out on the rise to the checkered flag. 5:13 or so going to be the time. Ends up being about a 5:14 once the timing line ends up activating, so it's not the slowest time we've seen so far. But now with 7 times on the board, Josh Edmondson the next to roll, also in a Ford Fiesta representing the Nitro Circus sim racing team. But here is a driver that I think we should keep an eye on his run towards the line. Jacob Rafosu gives a bit of a death stare every time that he's racing, such is his intensity.
Oh, he's really concentrating, isn't he? Wow. Just a point there on the Beetle of Francois Martel. He's only 8 seconds off the quickest. I think he would have lost about that reversing out of the trees. So his pace, if he can get a clean run, he's in with a shout here.
You're not wrong there. You may be just trying to conjure up some hope, but that is a very good point.
It nearly worked for Drago earlier.
That's a good point. If you were watching us for the iRacing... Oh, there's a distraction. If you're watching us at the iRacing Daytona 24 Hours, we had a lot of fun in the closing stages with a real push. So Jacob Rafoss is already on that run towards the left-hander. It's not necessarily, I think, going to be under the 5-minute bracket, but it is trending to challenge Palaneva. Again, I think I'm about to be proven wrong, though. Is that a commentator's curse? No, it's just Arjuna not knowing what he's talking about. It's going to be a 4:57, so it isn't going to be the fastest time that we've seen in a race to the summit, but it's a great benchmark for the first of 3 attempts.
Jacob Rafoss has just gone 8.8 seconds faster than anybody. That's remarkable. Absolutely remarkable. Whoa, big mistake.
Who's that? Oh, it's the defending champion.
Oh, so yeah, your 2-time winner, Christian Steenberg, and he's scrubbed the run. That's it. So for that first run, so 2 in the tank then for Steenberg. But now it looks like, oh no, it's a big out. It was just snapped away from him there.
I have to jump on board and see if we can look at the steering. We won't get it from this perspective. Oh, there's a little bump there that it just hit, and from there the car unsettled.
And he was flying, wasn't he? Absolutely flat to the board and top. Big. And these cars are so expressive, and if you just catch the bump the wrong way, you will get pogoed off the side of the mountain.
We have Josh Fox rolling out in those Williams Esports colors. Williams Esports winning in that 24 hours of Daytona in the GTP category, and so now Josh Fox flying the flag for them. Interesting to note that he has elected to stick with his favorite Subaru STI. He has not elected to venture out and be a bit more different.
Well, stick with what you know. I think that the Subaru is a really good package. It's just got that slightly longer wheelbase, which could make it a little bit more stable in the what Josh Fox and what what Josh Edmondson can do likewise in the Nitro Circus Fiesta RS WRC. Of course, it's slightly shorter wheelbase, so maybe a little bit better in the slower, more technical stuff on the change of direction.
Yeah, and these are two high-caliber drivers really pushing it. Josh Fox competed in every season of the iRacing Rallycross World Championship. Josh Edmondson won the iRacing Off-Road Championship Series Invitational race that we had in the Pro 2 trucks. He loves when he has a bit more control in those two-wheel drive machines as opposed to the four-wheel drive cars. Now, he is coming up towards the top of the mountain. Josh Fox still has a ways to go in that Williams Esports car that is truly flying right now. Let's keep our focus on the driver rising up towards the top as the left side tires go up in the air and two-wheeling it on the run up towards a left-hand hairpin.
The cars just look absolutely superb here as they, normally you're used to seeing hill climb cars being glued to the surface. You might get a little bit of a jump and a bump in places, but they're having full-on tarmac rally style jumps as Josh Edmondson now driving it more Sebastian Loeb style, like a proper shaking his head. He's not happy, but looks to be keeping it very neat and tidy here, carrying great corner speed. Very much the Loeb Ogier style of tarmac rally driving.
Yeah, of course, recent news this past week that Nitro Circus Sim Racing are going e-NASCAR, so looking forward to seeing how they'll go in the biggest sphere of oval racing here on the iRacing platform. The winning time in 2022, at least in our 2022 race of the summit, a 4:58, so we've already smashed past that. Josh Edmondson, we know why he was slightly frustrated. He thinks that he should probably be a bit closer to his teammate Jacob Rafoss. J-Bob, 4.5 seconds quicker. That's a flyer.
That's huge. Yeah, I mean, that's quite a bit over half a second a mile, which is what you kind of look at it in rallying terms. That's quite a big gap. So yeah, clearly not happy about it. But speaking of rallying, the Scandinavians do it better than most. Ilari Laminsivu for Havu Sim Racing, car number 14 in this Ford Fiesta RS WRC. It seems that just on balance, the Fiesta's been the most popular car for this event. So is it the car to have at the moment? When I said I went a bit early when I said there was 3 Subarus at the top, it's now 2 Fords at the top.
Yeah, that's the thing. You just had to wait for, I think, certain drivers to show which car they were in, and I was looking forward to seeing which car they would unveil their hand. So Robbie Swan is also working his way through. He's second now as we wait for him to get to the line, but Josh Fox, the Pennsylvania native, will be the next driver on deck. For many a year, Josh Fox was competing in top-level sim racing, trying to also pursue opportunities in dirt oval racing in his native Pennsylvania, and juggling that with a master's degree. I don't know how he did all of that and still was competitive. He found ways to do so. He'll run to the line. We don't get to look at his webcam here today. The proper time will get updated in just a second because his internet disconnections made it a little bit difficult for the software to track, but it's faster than Jacob Rafoss. Fox to the top in the Subaru.
0.6 of a second. How do you like that one? Wow, so close there then. So Josh Fox takes the Subaru to the top of the timesheet. So we really got a battle here. It's a battle we've seen in global rallying so many times. Subaru versus Ford. And who's going to come out on top here in the battle of the manufacturers as well as the drivers? Robbie Swan, the number 37 Ford Fiesta RS WRC. The commitment level of these drivers in these rallycross bred machines, it's a great combo. I tell you what, I'd love to see a rallycross supercar at Pikes Peak. It would be wonderful.
You know, let's do that. Let's send Travis on a quest.
I've always wanted to know what either a Rally 1 or a Rally 2 car would do, just in its standard form. Just no adjustments, set it up like you would for a tarmac rally stage and off you go. I'd love to see what it would do at Pikes Peak.
Are we talking hybrid Rally 1 or pre-hybrid Rally 1?
I think you would need both actually. I'd like to see the Rally 2 without the hybrid to see what it does, but I think the Rally 1 with the hybrid would be very, very good, and particularly for a fairly short run like that, I think it would be fantastic. Put some proper hill climb tyres. I'm reliably informed by Rhys Millen that the Pirelli hill climb tyre is like glue, but they don't make it anymore, sadly.
Oh, interesting. The reason why I bring that up is because I found in my brief dalliance with some rallying, by the way, Racecraft do have a WRC club if you want to go and do a little bit of that, is that managing the hybrids actually something you have to think about, how much you're braking, how much you're on the throttle. This is a great time from Robbie Swan. It's going to be fast, and it's faster than Josh Fox. Oh, the times are tumbling, a 4:56.5.
Wow, so we've got 1.3 seconds covering the top 3 drivers, and they've only had one run. So that who can push the bar on now? This is the question. We've got a look at who our top drivers are so far from these opening runs, but who's going to keep pushing the bar on? Who can keep going, or who's at their maximum? We'll find out over the next 2 runs.
And I will be honest in saying that time from Robbie Swan sort of came out of nowhere for me. He says he came into this event saying he was a bit of a big underdog with no major sim racing accomplishments, but he has a soft spot for Mount Washington, ran in this event last year, a 10th shy of the top 5. He's joined up with Racecraft for this year, done a lot more prep than he thinks anyone else has. How many attempts do you think he's done in the last 3 months?
1,000.
No.
More.
Way more.
5,000.
You're still low. 6,000 attempts in 3 months.
Big respect. You deserve it.
And that's why he knows this layout basically like the back of his hand. And his best, he says, a personal best of a 4:55.098 on his first competitive attempt. He got within 1.5 seconds of that. What an effort it was. Lamin Sivu will come to the line though, and he's just blown it away. Oh my goodness gracious me. 2 seconds at the front, Peter, with a 4:55.
This is why hill climb is so exciting, because just when you think someone has blown it out of the water, the next driver up the hill blows that one out of the water. Liam Buckley, can he raise the bar even further in the 971 Ford? We're now back to 2 Fords at the top. The top Subaru is Josh Fox in 3rd, and this is just after 1 run. Oh, it's fantastic. Absolutely fantastic.
We need to do more of this, and
we do. They
do let you go down the hill as well, Peter.
I've heard that doing basically like a soapbox derby with the Formula V, where you bang it in neutral and it just lets it goes down, can be really good fun, apparently.
I think we can also mandate that as well. If anyone's wondering, well, how do you make sure they don't cheat? Just do a fixed setup race where it's literally got 1 litre of fuel in it, then everyone's got no choice.
Use your 1 litre of fuel how you want.
I'd make sure you're at the end without spluttering, because otherwise you're at the whims of gravity. Liam Buckley through the hairpin, so still has probably around 40-odd seconds or so to go. This might be another decent one. That first sector of a 1:27.567, stacking up pretty decently, all things considered. Out there on track as well now, Jake Robichaux and I think Trevor Teal might be next up on deck. Having just said that, team manager at the Nitro Circus Sim Racing team has binned it off the track.
Oh dear. Well, 2 more runs to go. So if you've got the pace, give it another run. Liam Buckley, what can he do? A very good opening sector, it must be said. A 1:27. That's competitive. That's not. Oh dear.
And that's what happened to Trevor Teal. Now that's the second car basically within the opening couple of corners that's had an issue like that, and well, that's what it looked like from behind the wheel. Buckley
to 3rd then. Buckley with a 4:57.119, 2.3 off quickest, 0.599 off second quickest, so very competitive run from Buckley, and the blue oval locking out the podium at the moment.
Yeah, it's back to those Fords up towards the front just as quickly as Josh Fox had split them up and made it a bit more interesting. It's changed back around. So Jake Robichaux going to be next on deck. Of course, we saw the emotions for Justin Robichaux as he ran towards the line. Now, I do believe this is a father and son duo, so I hope there's some competition between the two of them.
Are we gonna have a family feud here? Our first ever game of sim racing family feud. I did commentate on a curling game the other day with mother and daughter. Daughter won quite convincingly.
Okay.
Must have been awkward. Yeah.
What was the aftermath like? What was the celebration?
I think it was fairly. I think it was expected, given that daughter plays for Scotland.
Okay.
And yeah, so it maybe wasn't a fair matchup. But if Jake Robichaux's rig is anything to go by, he's got it in the bag. I mean, the seat, I want to know what car that seat has come out of, because that is cool.
That's not a bucket seat like many sim racers are doing. That's a proper car seat for comfort, and I respect you for that choice. He's in VR as well. Don't forget, if you're liking some of these rigs and you're thinking, oh, I have some inspiration, you can get 5% off the USA store of the Next Level Racing website by heading over to nextlevelracing.com using the promo code RTTS. And so a big shout out to our friends at Next Level Racing for helping us to put this on. The Slapex 8 racing machine, that is one of the best team names, by the way, in the history of sim racing, slays its way up towards the top, Peter.
No comment. That certainly has a slightly different connotation, certainly where I'm from. I'm not sure if it does in the other side of the Atlantic. But let's see what the run is going to be for Jake Robichaux. Didn't quite get it to the top of the mountain on the first run. What can it be here in the number 69 Ford coming up towards the checker? Again, the first time on the board for these second runs. 5 minute 40.0, 41.4. There's a little delay there. 5:41.4, the final confirmed time.
It is a little bit weird, right? That little jump. We have to get used to it. So now we know if it reads 454 at the line, then it's probably going to be too slow to pip Ilari Lamansivu. That's kind of the way to go with it. So now, like Peter mentioned, we're into the second run for the drivers, and suddenly Lindsay Hobbs, who was seemingly on course to become the first driver to put a time on the board, still on the tarmac for the time being, but surely not far away from reaching the here we go, in fact, right on cue. Hits the gravel where he made the mistake in his first attempt.
So Kate, a much better run of things now here for Justin Robichaux in car number, Lindsay Hobbs in car number 22. Also he's in the Ford for Excalibur Esports, hoping to get a time on the board here and see where he can match up. Great traction actually coming through there, through the loose and then back onto the tarmac again, and really rattling up the gearbox. And just how quick the speed gathers, even with such a steep climb. It's a 1 in 13 gradient on average here.
I think this maybe makes it a bit more dramatic because it makes the elevation peaks and troughs so much more drastic when the camera is stuck on the nose of the ground. But I think it really does illustrate the commitment as the front end raised with the nose in the air of these drivers. We mentioned the tires and the way the suspension plays out, but Peter, these are not necessarily cars designed to go and attack a run like this.
No, they aren't initially designed for it, but I think they actually suit it pretty well, because it's not often we're seeing the cars getting up into top gear and hitting the limiters, so their short gearing and fast acceleration really works quite well. And you look at a purpose-built hill climb car, it's, acceleration is everything, and traction is everything too for a hill climb car. There's no point in having the power unless you can put it down. One video I would urge you to watch is the video of Rhys Millen driving the Emotion Engineering Porsche GT3R twin turbo up the mountain. You would not believe that car is not four-wheel drive. It's only rear-wheel drive, but the traction would make you think it was four-wheel drive.
Here comes Lindsay Hobbs to the line. It's going to be about a 5:09. Going to slot him just behind David Schofield, I believe. In fact, behind Robichaux and Blanche as well. And so now 15 drivers are onto the board with the second runs underway. Sean Winkler, who wrecked in, I think it was within the best, effectively the first 500 meters of the run. He's on that second run. He's made a bit more work of it so far. And well, if you want real estate in Washington, not Mount Washington, just to be clear, in Washington, Sean Winkler's your guy.
I can imagine that's a good business to be in, real estate in Washington D.C. or in Washington State?
In Washington State. So probably if you're around Seattle, that might be pretty lucrative.
Oh, very. That's tech area, isn't it?
Exactly. Amazon, Microsoft, a bunch of other. Did you know Nintendo has an office up there as well?
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
No.
I'm trying to figure out who else has an office up there now.
Starbucks?
Probably. Are they Washington or are they like Oregon?
Fraser Crane in Seattle?
Oh, these you're more educated than me on this, Peter.
Niles, you haven't seen Fraser, have you?
No, I have not.
Okay, right, that's fair enough. Give you a free pass on
that. You were trying so hard, and you had to then go fishing for an answer, so I hate to disappoint you. Sean Winkler's going to come to the line in VR as well, trending probably towards another 5-10 or so, maybe a little bit slower, but because he burned the first run, maybe, Peter, there's a little bit more trepidation on the second. It's all come wrong within 500 meters of the end.
Oh, he had the sail. He had the sail and it fell through at the mortgage stage. Oh dear. That's a real estate metaphor for you folks. Oh dear. But he's got a time on the board. He's got up to the end of the top of the mountain, albeit battered and bruised. Yeah, he's disappointed. 5:24.5. He'll be hoping to get a clean run on his last run up the hill.
So Zach Blanche and Yoni Palaneva get their second attempts underway. Here comes flying past us at full head of steam. This is still not even halfway through the run so far. So just on that left-hand side, I think the gaps maybe illustrate the difference, but they don't really tell the whole story. So pop up the fastest lap for the driver so far. Again, benchmark has been set 4:54, 7:74 from Ilari Laminsivu. And just to reiterate, Peter, that is 4 seconds quicker than the 4:58.721 that won this event at the end of 2022.
And thank you very much to Josh Edmondson for who's in the event, but he's on the stream as well. Josh, great first run, by the way. They're 6th at the moment. He just says the leader has just casually set a world record for iRacing. Hill climb.
I mean, that's what you need to do to win this event. It's just been proven.
So what that means is we are looking at the very, very best at this discipline, and I sincerely hope that this is an inspiration to other iRacers who maybe enjoy this car or enjoy hill climb or even a combination of the two. Come and do more of this. We need more of this because it's such an exciting format. Love it.
So I've gone back even further into the history books. 2021 winning time was a 4:59.6. So they shaved off around 0.8 of a second between 2021 and 2022, and in the time since, Ilari Laminsivu, best of them all, has shaved that much more off of the board. So as we continue to go, Zach Blanche, Yoni Palaneva, and Tyler Campbell are the 3 drivers working around. Zach Blanche has poked up the top of where clouds would be if we had worse weather conditions. Fortunately, it's about as clear as you'd like for visibility today.
Oh, it's a glorious day in Mount Washington, New Hampshire. 24 degrees Celsius. Now, is that where is that temperature taken? Is that at the base of the climb at 489 meters altitude, or is it up at the top at 1908? Because I bet it's quite a different temperature.
That's a good question, actually. I don't quite know the answer to that, other than that is what iRacing tells us the track temperature is.
There is a bit of trivia. Let us know in the chat. If you genuinely know where is the virtual barometer on Mount Washington, you will win a prize.
Well, I think the logical thing would be probably down at the bottom.
I guess so, at the start line, that makes sense.
Right, but I've always wondered if iRacing was smart enough to do an average sort of a thing, but you never know. So here comes Zach Blanche, and again within 500 meters of the end, it's all gone wrong.
Oh, Zach.
He's got a smile on his face, at least, I'm pretty sure.
He still had fun. Yeah, he still had fun, but that's painful. That is painful.
We've all done things like that before, though, haven't we?
Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
Seems as though Yoni Palaneva has waved his run off, so next up will be Tyler Campbell, who's only halfway through and hoping to set what will be his first time onto the board. 16 drivers so far have been able to register times. Still waiting for 6 drivers, and I think we do have a late addition potentially into the running. We're going to have to see how it plays out. Cam Peterson's added some more factoids into the Racesport TV chat. Big Cam himself. Top 5 have beaten last year's winning run on their first attempt.
The game has been moved on. I mean, if you've got drivers putting 6,000 practice runs in, no wonder we're reaching these levels of performance. I doff my cap at the commitment Top marks. Top marks.
Whoa!
Whoa!
Tyler Campbell was in hyperspeed and now suddenly finds himself ground to a halt. I've got to say, I love the background. Oh, don't tell me he's beached it. Oh, he has.
Oh dear.
Yeah, he's got a smile now on his face too.
Oh dear.
It's so easy to do that, and that's why I instantly said, has he beached it? Because, Peter, I've done that in the Nordschleife one too many times to myself.
Well, I think we all have. So, now we've got Toby Ward for Boosted Motorsport. Didn't get an indicative time in run number 1. Let's see what he can do here in his second run in his Ford Fiesta RS WRC. That is the most pristine racing suit I think I've seen this week.
That's how you know it was taken before all of the racing actually happened.
Yes, and the whitest helmet too.
Didn't stay that white for very long in the cockpit of the car.
No, I couldn't. I wouldn't think so, especially in a hill climb, or indeed a wet go-kart race in the UK.
Which is probably more likely where it was plucked from. When it comes to the time of Toby Ward, 5:12.742. If he finds 2 seconds, he jumps up to Lindsay Hobbs. And then there's very fine margins. 1 more second gets him up in front of Joni Palineva. That would be up into 7th spot. So there is plenty of, I think, work for these drivers to do, given that the front has leapfrogged so far forward in terms of times. The mid-pack also that little bit closer. Stead Miller rolls out onto track as well for his second attempt.
And I don't think Stead has got... no, he hasn't got a time on the board yet, so had to pull out of his first go in the Excalibur Ford Fiesta. And you can see again just the lines that they're running. This is proper tarmac rally style, where you're using all of the road on entry and exit of the corner. I think what needs to happen, Arjuna, is that iRacing need to scan a Rally 2 car or even a Rally 1 car. Maybe one of the old Skoda Rally 2 cars, and which is maybe not in homologation anymore, but we could use it out without having any issues with licensing.
We can live in fantasy land, is kind of what you're saying.
Yes.
I just have a personal request. If we are going to get a former rally car, just make it a Subaru, just because I have a soft spot for them, and because there are so many classic Subarus that I can pretend to be, Colin McRae, Peter Solberg. The list goes on and on and on. At least that's my personal wish list. Peter, what would it be in your opinion?
One
rally car manufacturer.
Well, I think it's entirely obvious. It would be a Tuthill Porsche 997 GT3 Cup that was converted into an RGT rally car that Francois Delacour drove. That would be sublime.
See, you're just more skilled than me at the rally, and I would never trust myself with a rear wheel drive rally car. Toby Ward onto the gravel, where he's fortunately not in a rear wheel car machine, where the rear end of the car sometimes can pendulum around on you quite a lot. Although, I guess if that's what your driving style likes, that's why some people liked that back in the day.
Well, you want the car to be able to turn and change direction well, and a little bit of an early cut there for Toby, and off the gravel onto the tarmac. It gives the steering wheel a little bit of a bump there. Now, apparently those are not champagne flutes. Apparently they're trophies.
Those are trophies?
I mean, they look like champagne glasses to me. The stuff on the right looks like trophies.
That's what I was going to say. I was wondering what maybe they just...
Sorry, is he on a swivelly desk chair?
He might actually be. That's not a very stable chair, is it? He's not happy with himself right now. What I will say is, I've now just had an idea for the future if I ever run a motorsport series. No trophies. Instead, I give you the glass on the podium. You have to fill it with champagne.
Quite right. And that glass is your shoe.
Oh, even better. Oh, you're saving me even more money here. Love it. This is exactly what the motorsports community needs. Ways to save money on the podium.
Sustainable.
Exactly. Toby Ward's got the left-hander to come. I'm not sure he's going to beat that 5:12.742 of his.
It's not. It's going to be tight anyway if he's going to be able to improve. But get 2 finishes on the board and then really go for it in the last one. And it's going to be, I think you're right, Arjun. I think he might well miss out on the on improving on his first run. I am intrigued by this chair. I think he is on a twirly desk chair.
I think I agree with you. Hopefully we get to talk to some of these drivers in between their runs. They're more than willing to, to come and chat with us. He does actually improve, so Toby Ward with a 5:09.846 jumps up into 11th, and now we'll take the Next Level Racing Chinook helicopter back down to the bottom as the Volkswagen Beetle rolls back out. Now there have been a couple more incidents while we've been enjoying cleaner runs up towards the top, so let's check in first with the Subaru of David Schofield.
So the Beetle is that's a deformed Subaru off the road there. This is how it happened. Just carries that little bit too much speed, catches the banking just and into the trees and a dead stop. But all eyes on the mighty Beetle, the sole Beetle in the contest. As we see, one of the other machines have a massive incident where it all went wrong and whoopsie daisy.
That was Connor Parisi that had that big moment in his Fiesta, so that finds him in some trouble. I don't think we've actually seen Connor in any of these previous events, but hoping that he can get his time onto the board. Still waiting for Christian Steenberg as well to find his way onto the timing run, but like Peter mentioned, back on to the Beetle, which is running its way now still with about 75% of the climb to go.
It just looks fantastic, that machine there. You can see how much the driver's got to work hard to keep the car on the straight and narrow. Being a rallycross car is quite an expressive machine. It really does pitch and roll, and as you go through the corners you've got to manage that body roll quite significantly. And then it's got so much power that when you put the power down, the car squats, and you almost feel like the car's going to do a wheelie on you as you head up the hill. But Francois Martel really grabbing the scruff of the neck of this Beetle here, and we thought without that incident in his first run, he'd put a pretty competitive time on the board. So let's see if he can do that here on this second run.
I'm pretty sure he would have inserted himself probably between Palaneva and Edmondson, so probably 7th position, but yeah, still has to work his way through. The one thing that you will obviously note as well is, even though these are open setup events, so the drivers have had the ability to dial in the gear ranges just a little bit more. Because it's a rallycross car, you want it to get off the line pretty quickly, so acceleration, going up through the gears is important. Spend a lot more time, Peter, in 4th, 5th and 6th gear than anything else.
That's a classic rallycross car, and even just being able to put the power down as well. Oh, well held. Oh, bravo.
Save of the day? Question mark?
Oh yeah, I think fair. Wow, that nearly was an aeroplane crash.
And after the slight moment earlier, I do have to kind of ask the question, how well balanced is that Beetle really? We talk about it, having equal distribution probably across of each of the wheels, but, with all of the different bumps that you have here, if your suspension setup isn't dialed in, just one bad bump can really send you for a ride.
I think it will need a lot of dialing in. I will concede that about the beloved Beetle. For this type of running, it will need really optimized as our next runner heads up onto the mountain, facing up to 7.6 miles. Now, we mentioned some of the previous winners of both in the virtual world, twice Christian Steenberg and also Travis Pastrana, David Higgins in the outdoor world. But back in 1956, it was by far and away the coolest win, because Carroll Shelby won the race. Or won the event in a Ferrari 375 GP with a 4.5 litre engine. I
mean, there's not many cooler cars than that, I think, that you could probably take into a hill climb. That's also what makes these events so unique, is the machines that sometimes people take to them and build specifically for the climbs. You're obviously trying to deal with, in the case of certain events, the higher you up you go, the engine has to compensate for the lack of oxygen that's sometimes fed into it, so keep that in mind. Garrett Mains, he's out on track in that Smithfield Fiesta, finished second in the event, pipped by Steenberg with the final run. The winning margin at the end, less than 200ths of a second, and given that the benchmarkers move so much further forward, Peter, I think his first run, which is now I think technically his second run because he's already missed the slots for the first run. I don't think they're going to give him an extra run for free, if you know what I'm saying. I think there's a bit more pressure on him here to make sure he gets something decent onto that left-hand side.
Yeah, he's got 2 goes at this as Garrett Mains, and yeah, just scratch that first one. So got to get on with it. Another 2 corners for the end. Francois Martel is full attack, just making that Beetle go as quick as it'll go. And what is he going to put on the board here? Wait for the timing screen to adjust. It is a 5:10.3. Oh?
No, it was a 5:07.690. Now it's adjusting the opposite way.
That is a frustrating glitch. Yes, 5:07.690. Very good.
I agree with Peter that doesn't make it easy, does it, to try and figure out what's going on when we were trying to add a magic multiplier at the end of the lap on top, and now we're trying to subtract it. Turn our attention to the replay, by the way, because Jacob Rafoss, well, he was pushing directly off the side of the road.
Oh dear, that's not what we like to see. And it just snaps away on him. Straight into the trees. And at that stage, there is, well, he's already got one time on the board. Already got a 4:57.875, which was good enough for 5th on the runs. Let's see what Garrett Mains can do. He could really put the cat among the pigeons here, because if he just strolls up, misses his first run, and slams it at the top of the timesheets in his second run, that is quite a psychological blow if he's able to do that. Let's see.
That's a bit of a statement, isn't it? If it's just like, hello, I'll rock up as well after, I think for a 3rd year in a row, winning the Friday night top splits GT3 class, or GTD as it's known in IMSA, of the iRacing 24 Hours of Daytona. So has already done plenty of driving, I'm sure. If that's a 2-man effort, 12 hours of driving across 24, that doesn't leave much time for sleep.
No, it doesn't. That's quite remarkable.
Oh!
That's not.
And the Chinook takes him straight back down.
That's a long way down from there. So it'll be one and done then for Garrett Mains.
Puts the pressure on, doesn't it?
To be honest, I think in this format, I don't think you can do it on one run. I think you've got to put so much risk in to put these times in, knowing that if you get it wrong, you do have another go. I think if you're just making one big run for the title, I just don't know if that's going to be enough. Let's see.
And to your point, is that kind of why Ilari Laminsivu maybe went so fast? Because in some ways, with that first run, you have less pressure because you know you've got those extra opportunities. He could be a little bit more free, could be a little bit more flowing, and when you are in that spot where you're not worried about the time, things usually go more right for you than wrong.
Yeah, I think it maybe just concentrated on hitting his marks, and with the amount of preparation that's being done by these top drivers, you know exactly what the deal is in terms of which corners you can go fast. Look at this commitment on the bumper cam here from Christian Steenberg, your 2-time winner of this event, running the Formula style wheel, so like kind of almost like a Formula 1 style steering wheel, not a rally style wheel, and he is absolutely glued focus as he heads his way up the hill. This could be a good time.
It is unusual to see drivers with the Formula rim. Gives you a little less control if you need to go hand over hand, but I guess that's the goal, not to go hand over hand. Gives him a little bit more control maybe through some of these moments where you're just trying to balance the car. And you talk about commitment, this is about as focused as you can get. Made the mistake on the first run, does not want to leave himself in a spot where that final runs is all that he has got left to play. What's the time right now as he continues the climb up towards the top? It's a 4:06. I'm going to go out on a limb here and say it's trending decently as he yoinks it past the hairpin.
It is trending well, but is that a little bit of... I think he's clipped something on the rear left of the car. How much that will affect the performance or not, I don't know. But yeah, as you said, Arjuna, trending well in terms of the times so far. as he makes his way to the top. The number he's got to beat is a 4:54.774 as Robbie Swan just puts one in, a 4:56.520.
He was totally off my timing screen. Not sure exactly how that one happened, but that is a nice little time for him. But here we go for Christian Steenberg on the run to the line. This is good. This is very good. 4:54 to beat. What's it going to be? Wait for it to update. It's faster. A new world record. Defending champion with a statement of a run.
4:54.532, 0.2 of a second quicker than Ilari Laminsivu. Game on at the front of the timesheets here in this Race to the Summit event. What a special display of motorsport and of precision driving we're seeing.
And again, world record on the second attempt there, yes, but realistically the first time that Christian Steenberg probably relaxed after how that first run went. We can take a look at Josh Edmondson working up the hill, and for the first time we can also take a look at the driver who's just finished the run, and the adrenaline dump must be real, Peter.
I could imagine he'll be quivering and shaking right now when you really see a driver put it on the absolute limit on a format like this. It is, yeah, like you say, it is an adrenaline ride like no other. And when you come off that, it's pretty intense.
So
that's quite a marker. That's quite a marker.
Edmondson is trending decently at this point. Now up past the where the clouds would have been, now just the left-hander to come. You say it's a marker, but now for the drivers that have got one lap time on the board, the other thing that they have in the sim, Peter, is a delta time. They will know exactly how they're trending to their main rivals. What's it going to be for Edmondson as he rises his way to the checkered flag? It's a 5 flat, at 8 thousandths off a 5 flat exactly, and so he does find some improvement in time, albeit not in position. So as we now wait for the next drivers to continue working their way on forward, I had said that maybe we could get the chance to talk to some of the drivers. Let's see if Peter Mackay can have a catch-up with Toby Ward in that boosted Motorsports Fiesta.
Toby, welcome to the RacePot TV commentary box. I have to say, we're having a blast here in the commentary box watching all of this. What's it?
Well, I hear you've been
Go ahead, Toby.
Oh, can you hear me now?
Yep, yeah.
Oh, sorry about that. Yeah, it's very difficult doing these hill climbs, you know? Like, you've only got 3 runs, and you really have to build yourself into it. We didn't actually know what conditions would be like out on the mountain ahead of time, so you kind of just had to take a bit of a guess. So that's why the first couple of runs have been a bit slow. Little bit frustrated with myself. I know I can go under the 5:06 mark. I have done so in practice, so I definitely want to try and get that sorted out.
And come on then, tell us about which are the glasses and which are the trophies, because they look like glasses to Arjuna and I.
They're all trophies.
Strange looking trophies.
If you do hill climb racing in the UK, you tend to get given either wine glasses or pint glasses, which I'm quite a fan of, honestly. It's definitely something a bit different to your normal trophies.
Well, we're very impressed by them nonetheless, and I think you can if they look like glasses, it means you can drink out of them. So definitely you should use them as well. Final run coming up quickly. We'll let you go and prepare for that. What's the plan of attack?
All out, pretty much. There's no point hanging back at this point. You know, I've got settled in. I've done a couple of warm-up runs. You know, I know what the track conditions are going to be like, and like I say, I want to get under that 5:06 mark at least. That's definitely on my radar.
Well, we'll be cheering you on, Toby. Good luck for that last run and have fun.
Oh, thank you very much.
Nice to catch
So
up.
there you go. They're all trophies.
They are trophies, and again, like I said, my motorsport series in the future in the real world now has a budget item that has been stricken from the record. Robbie Swan had just begun his run as we saw, I think Christian Steenberg come towards the line, and so now he is going to see himself with one more chance to now try and bridge what is a 2-second gap to now those in front. Here's the look at him on board in virtual reality again. 6,000 runs, Peter, in practice over the last 3 months.
This deserves every bit of speed with that level of preparation. I mean, that's immense. Let's see what the time is. No, this is not even close to an improvement there. So it's going to have to come down to the last run then for Robbie Swan. 4:56.520, his best up to now. He's got the pace to have. He can find another couple of seconds, I think, with that level of preparation. I'm trying to do the maths. 3 months, 6,000. That's 2,000 a month. So he's doing
Couple of
like
days.
70 runs a day.
Okay, that sounds a bit over-exaggerated now that you've read
Wait a
it
minute,
like
hold
that. Well, you go off and do the math. I'll just say that as he went to the line, keep an eye on the timing. It does seem to take a second for it to update at the line before things get properly calculated. So Robbie Swan actually was only a couple of seconds off, but no improvement on his first run. He gets one more chance with which to improve. And I think that's going to be somewhat of the situation that we're in here as well with Alari Lamansivu in the Havu Racing Ford Fiesta as he works his way now on the tarmac in that final sector. Liam Buckley and Jake Robichaux on track as well. So we're already, I think, into the third and final set of runs for some of the drivers. This event is really flying past, and we're having a ball with it as well, aren't we, Peter?
Oh, having so much fun. I think we need to do much more of this here on Racecraft TV and indeed on the iRacing platform. Now, Alari Lamansivu was fastest in the first run. Can he improve on his already incredible benchmark? Over the line he comes. 4:54.774 to beat. It's not an improvement.
It is! It's a 4:54.120! It's a new world record! That's 3 now in a row here today!
It said 5 minutes flat for me. This timing screen is doing my head in. 4:54.1. He's so fast, he's breaking the timing screen.
Yeah, it's one of those peculiarities that we're having to deal with. It's making it difficult for us here in the booth, that is for sure, but it keeps us on our toes. It's keeping us even more excited, I think, Peter, because I'm waiting on a delay, and as soon as the time updates, I'm going off like a firework.
Oh, crazy. Absolutely crazy. So now the gap is 0.4 of a second. So what we're going to see is a shootout between Lamansivu and Steenberg and whoever else wants to come to the party. Maybe Liam Buckley can. He's got to find 3 seconds to get up to that mark, but why not? But I tell you what, the no-holds-barred all-attack from Lamansivu and Steenberg, what a prospect.
So here comes Liam Buckley with a 4:57. Again, that time would have been good enough to win last year. Now it's not good enough to be on the podium screen. That is the difference that we are dealing with. Second run for him, of course, looks quite comfortable. Up towards the line now. Checkered flag will be in sight, and again, we'll have to wait and see what the time's going to update to read. Don't think it was going to be a 5:04. Indeed, updates to a 4:56.855. Not faster than the top 3, but just a little bit closer.
And that's going to build the confidence as well. If you're going quicker with every run, that sets you up for that final charge to up the hill. Wow, what a prospect! Oh, a bit of a mistake there from Robichaux. That's frustrating. That is frustrating. That just those little errors can just sap the confidence away as you climb up the hill.
But the Slapex racing machine is still at least pointed in the right direction, and given that right now Robichaux, I think, is just looking to try and improve marginally on the time. As long as he can stay out of trouble, that's going to be the important thing. In the battle of the Robichauxs, by the way, Jake slightly behind Justin, and I'm sure as well at the conclusion of this one there's going to be some family banter between the two.
Well, it looks like it's going in the favour of Junior at the moment, but still plenty to go on this last run then for Jake Robichaux, sitting 17th on the timing screen at the moment. But I tell you what, just what a prospect this is. Lamansivu versus Steenberg, plus maybe Swan, maybe Buckley into that conversation, but those top two, the level they've gone to keep breaking the world record one after the other. Wow.
Prediction time. One more run to go. Margin between them, it doesn't make a difference. It's a over a run like that, it's one mistake around the run. Lamanzivu or Steenberg, who do you think has enough to come out on top?
Impossible to call.
Flip the
Absolutely
coin?
Impossible. Yeah, flip a coin. Yeah, it's that close. I think it's who gets the. I think clearly they're both on that just alien level of ability. I think it's just going to be who strings the best run together at the end of the day. They're both so closely matched.
Again, our apologies for some of the weird confusion with timing. We're doing our best to try and figure out what's going on as we see Jake Robichaux, who's going to run his way to the line and finish up that second run. So that's all the second runs now done as he drifts his way at the end.
That's his third.
Is that his third or second? I thought he was...
Yeah, it's because he was first on the run. So this is the first of the third runs now.
Oh, you're right. I thought Justin was the first of the third runs. You are correct. So Sean Winkler now going to be the second of the third runs, right?
Yes. So we're now fully on to the third runs. Our second runs are finished. And we're talking a lot about runs. It's like we're at the doctor or something.
Or we're athletes, which I can promise you, I'm definitely not someone who's going for a run after this.
Me neither. No, I will be going to sleep after this.
The only type of run that I think Peter would approve of is a whiskey run.
Correct. Yes, quite right. Sean Winkler, he wants a run of deals, a run of sales in his. I'm just going to see the name. It's Real Broker LLC. There you go.
I mean, he's got the phone number up there as well.
Yeah.
So if you want to really, as he gets the windshield wipers going, transitioning back onto the tarmac. If you really want to get into the Washington real estate market, then Sean Winkler's your guy.
He is. He's climbs mountains by night and sells houses by day.
Can you imagine printing that on your business card?
I dare, Sean. If you're watching this back, I dare you.
Do it. Oh, I mean, of all the things that real estate brokers probably say, that can't be the most cliche thing.
The only thing faster than my deal making is my rally car.
Oh, there you go. You got to print
that on a bus stop
with a picture of your rally car as well. Yeah, you see, we are marketing geniuses here.
Oh yeah,
at RaceBot TV.
Idea factory.
Tyler Campbell's just said that he woke up 30 minutes before the event. That's suboptimal. That's not... Can you imagine being woken up from a deep slumber and being told that you have to climb up the entirety of Mount Washington?
Not the best preparation. You need a couple of strong coffees before you get going. That Sebastian Loeb, he is... If he doesn't have about 3 or 4 espressos and strong ones at that before he goes out in the rally car, he's just not on full form. He has to have a big hit of caffeine in. It seems to work for him, so maybe that's what you need if you've just rolled out of bed.
Here he comes up towards the top of the track. So he's going to get another time onto the board, and again, we're going to have to wait to see exactly what the time is going to be. So wait for the gremlins to work in the background. Winkler's maybe not too happy with it, but it is a 5:12.176.
And that's quite a big improvement. He was a 5:24. On his second run, so great stuff there, Sean Winkler. Good run for the last go up the hill.
So now we get to Justin Robichaux, and I just want to remind you how excited he was when he came across the line. We want more emotion like that in the world of sim racing, please.
Yes, we do. This is a lesson to all sim racers. The heart rate's going up again. It never really. It just crept over 100 on his first run. Well, it's up 108 now and climbing, so that it really feels like he might well be on a run here in his Subaru.
His heart rate has climbed up a little bit. What was it the last time? It was 90 something. Now it's up to 109.
99. Yeah, 99, 100. So it's definitely more so.
Oh, there's the sigh. He's got a couple of corners to go. No mistakes now. Heart rate's climbing even higher.
This is brilliant. I've never seen this in a sim racing environment where the driver shared that. Oh, I think he's lost it. Has he?
Well,
oh no!
He slipped off the track, which is going to be no improvement for him, surely. Not happy with himself, and the same emotion...
there.
Yeah, I was going to say, the same emotion that we saw at the line probably expressed in the lip reading if anyone wanted to work their way through it.
Oh no. Oh, it just as he went behind the hill there, and you saw him working the wheel hard. Ah, what a shame for Justin Robichaux. His best run, his first run And he knows it. This is a frustrating form of racing where you've got to string quite a long lap together. If you imagine it as a lap of a circuit, it's a long lap, not quite Nürburgring long, but still very, very tough. And yeah, there's so many little bumps and lumps that can just kick you off the road and it's all over.
This is one of the coolest sim rigs I think I have ever seen, by the way, for Zach Blanche. We think it's a dirt modified chassis that he's put virtual reality and fans into as well, Peter. You were quite right. I am 100% sure those are fans.
Well, if he's down under in Australia, you're going to need those fans, particularly right now. It's right in the middle of summer in Australia. So, yeah, that cooling system's going to be really important. Super cool rig. I mean, that's the sort of rig like when you have people who come round to your house who don't do sim racing or might not even have a gaming PC or an Xbox or anything like that, and they see that in your spare room, you're thinking that is pretty cool.
So, what is the coolest chassis that you could have? I've seen that, you know, there's a company that's selling Formula One quote-unquote chassis that are not actually real F1 chassis. There's just things made to look like chassis that you could be in. Maybe GT3 chassis that you get into. Zach Blanche wrecks at the line, but he does improve. He jumps up to 8th with a 5:05.454 and lands on all fours as well to close out the run.
I think you should get a second off your time for sticking the landing at the end.
Well, I'm trying to remember which rallycross track is it. So, Circuit de Barcelona Catalunya, we have the IRX iRacing configuration of it, where the start-finish line, Peter, is slightly offset from where it is in real world. So you can't really use the same analogy, same comparison to the track that maybe you're thinking of in your head. But the way that you finish there is you basically are coming around to where the final sector is of the Grand Prix layout, and the chicane that was added for Formula One is the Joker lap. And so people, what they do, the start-finish line is basically right on the exit of that corner. Instead of taking the corner normally, they just drive basically straight through the gantry to get the fastest time they can.
You can't beat sim racers for finding little tricks and exploits from time to time. They seem to be able to explore and find these little nuances to get an advantage over the other. Yoni Palaneva, one of our Finnish drivers. We've got a Finn on the top of the timesheets right now. 5:06.6, the best so far for Palaneva. Over the line he goes. What's the time going to be?
It's that second update that really confuses us. So it was a 5:06 for a second, then it ends up being a 5:08. So no improvement, shake of the head, and well, that's the race to the summit done for the no control esport car.
Yeah, we're being, if there's a big delay when they come over the line, we're wanting to make sure we're absolutely of the time. So yeah, no improvement there. I mean, his first run was blistering there for Palaneva. Love this. This is fantastic with the Star Wars theme in the background, going through space and time.
Oh no!
Whoa, and rocks.
Oh, and more rocks, and now he's up and over.
Oh
and,
no!
Oh, that's hellacious.
I thought we were going to have like that scene in the Italian Job where they push the minis off the side of the cliff.
No, Tyler Campbell says, no, I can right it and put it back on all four wheels and still keep going. Remember, this is the advantage of being a practice session rather than a timed qualifier. Moments like that don't invalidate your lap times.
So we can still get him to the finish. That's good. I like the tenacity there from Tyler Campbell. What does he sit on the leaderboard at the moment? He is...
Not
now
on
it
right
says
now.
number 37. He has not set a time. So this is just to get him on the board. What a pity.
Who else is not on the board? Trevor Teal, Connor Parisi, Garrett Maines and Stead Miller. So there are 5 drivers not on that left-hand side of the screen. 22 total drivers competing. There were time attack qualifiers to get to this point. 20 drivers selected from the qualifying list there, and then a handful of drivers also randomly selected by Next Level Racing to join the fun. And again, just a thank you to Next Level Racing. You can use the coupon code RTTS for 5% off their USA store by heading to nextlevelracing.com. Tyler Campbell rises his way to the very top, will finish this event with a time on the board. It's a 5:14.348.
Not what he would have wanted. Oh, and he's tipped it over on the way into the holding area. Kind of sums up the day, unfortunately, for Tyler Campbell, but I'm sure he's enjoyed it nonetheless. Now, Agustin Dylan running the virtual reality headset here in his Ford Fiesta RS WRC. Sitting 17th right now, 5 minutes and 15 seconds is best. Wanting to improve that and move up the order here.
Now, have you noticed something, Peter, about his webcam? Well, there's
It's
two
rather
things.
fuzzy.
Well,
is it a Nokia 3310?
That's a good question, but no, it's very out of focus though. But B, more importantly, he has made his bed for us.
Now, top marks for that.
Yeah, even Zach Campbell didn't make his bed for us in the iRacing 24 Hours of Daytona, but to be fair, he also was going on about 2 hours of sleep after being up for about 24 hours, so we will give him just a little bit of leeway. Delewin, as mentioned, with that 5:15.267, will be looking for some improvement, has gotten to the very top of the track without too much drama so far. Most of the cars, Peter, have got through without any sort of damage, which has been good to see.
They're getting the hang of this as we head through. Oh, big moment there at the last corner for Delawin as he comes up towards the checkered flag. Full commitment, massive commitment. Down the mountain he goes. Now, is it a 5:08.226? Confirmation coming in for that.
He wasn't happy with it still. You saw the
Yes.
hand go up in the air. I can't imagine why. That was not a bad run. I would be thrilled with a 5:08 personally.
I'd be happy with a 6:08. The pace here is amazing, and the amount of practice runs required to learn the course and get the maximum out. Now, Toby Ward, we spoke to him a little moment ago, not had a great run of things, and he just, going for it, full attack now in this last run in the boosted Ford.
And apparently those are trophies behind. And again, just a reminder.
They're definitely cups.
Like, clearly he was in a racing series where the organizer has saved some money.
Well, although I did win a golf trophy recently, and it is very much a trophy, but we still drank out of it.
Oh, as you should. I am going to send you a picture of the single golf trophy that I've won, Peter. I am very proud of it, and you'll see why. All I'm going to say is it was for a charity event.
Okay.
And I didn't win. I hope I've set the expectations appropriately low here, okay?
All right, okay, I think I know where you're going with this, yes, okay.
Toby Ward is going to come towards the line for what will be the final run of the Boosted Motorsports Ford Fiesta. Hop, skip, and a jump to the line, and as he slides off the track, that doesn't seem to be an improvement as he gives us the shoulder shrug, does find about a second up to 11th.
5:07.3, he's like, I know I've got a 5:06 in me, I know I've got it. He does, he definitely has that 5:06, but it's a frustrating discipline to be able to string the whole lap together, the whole run together. 5:07.3, that puts Toby Ward in 11th right now. Stead Miller, what can he do? No run on the board, no time on the board as yet.
Yes, he's had opportunities, just hasn't been able to put it together. Other drivers on track include David Schofield in 10th position right now, as Stead Miller had a half moment there. Connor Parisi is also out on track in his Nitro Circus sim racing car, but the Excalibur Esports machine will be the next towards the line. Has been impressive, I will say, how many drivers have been able to complete runs, because I can tell you from my personal experience of trying to do laps here, Peter, it's a frustration, it's a futile frustration of making your way slowly up the mountain and just getting gated effectively. iRacing's quite helpful. If you crash halfway through the mountain, it doesn't send you all the way back. Instead, there's checkpoints every couple of miles, I guess, up the mountain.
I didn't know about that feature, because I got to know the early part of it quite well, but not really the top part, to be able to learn the climb here. So Stead Miller looking much better now in front of the 024 Excalibur Esports Ford.
Don't forget, fake number there.
Yeah, the zeros doesn't exist.
Oh, he's a little bit wide, and he's going to run to the line and get through the checkered flag in the air. It is going to count as well.
That's that crash started about 500 metres before, where it was swapping ends, back, forth, nearly held it and then crashed over the line. Top marks for drama there.
I mean, commitment as well, right? If you wanted to see how much some of these drivers are going to keep the foot in it, there was no lifting for anybody.
Nope, there was, no tomorrow there. 5:07 flat then for Stead Miller. And yeah, here we go. Oh, does he stick the landing? Yes.
to be fair, we've seen what 3 or 4 crashes like that, and they've all stuck the landing.
There it goes. It's gone. Oh, I mean, just iron nerves from the 4 fans standing there watching.
I mean, rally fans are a different breed, aren't they?
They should have bobble hat. They're not really proper rally fans unless they have bobble hats. That needs to go in at the next build above all else.
Proper attire at the top of the mountain.
Yeah. Forget rain. We need bobble hats.
You see, iRacing should employ us as consultants so we could tell them what is actually important to fix. David Schofield will be next. He's 10th right now, and if he finds about 0.4 of a second, he's up to 9th. If he finds 2 seconds, he's up to 8th position.
Let's see then, one of the not quite the top rated Subarus, 3rd of the Subarus at the moment. In, should we call it, the Solberg Trophy for Subaru drivers.
See the checkered flag fly, and smacks the steering wheel. Love the emotion, don't love the time.
No, didn't like the time at all. He was quite 2.2 seconds slower than his previous best, so that's going to be frustrating there for David Schofield. He sits 10th right now. So, Nitro Circus Ford, Connor Parisi, car number 11 with, by my reckoning, no time on the board so far. So this is a one all or nothing run here.
Yeah, it is very much one or done for him. I believe he does drive a Ford Fiesta in the real world, as I think posted some pictures of him taking it out onto the track. So probably feels quite at home, but as he rises his way now into the final part of this run, 4:30 with just now the exit out of the left-hander and the climb towards the line. I don't think it's tracking to be a world record by any means, but for a run under pressure to get under 5 minutes is not a bad achievement in and of itself.
Pretty, I mean, everyone taking part in this event, the driving skill is just remarkable. And if you don't believe me, folks, if you've got an iRacing account, download this track, go and drive it and compare the times, and you'll see exactly what I mean. This is just fantastic. Parisi up towards the checkered flag. He's into the 5-minute barrier and much cleaner over the line than most. 5:09.465 there for Parisi. That puts him 16th.
And that lap time, just for reference, jumped forward rather than backwards. So confusion in the commentary booth continues. But now Jacob Rafos, Garrett Maines, 2 drivers out on track, and that's commitment from Jacob Rafos. That's a body language of a car that's being thrown through, not onto the gravel just yet. I think he's going to turn through the complex, and right now through the left onto the gravel and starts to slide around once more. Remember, Rafos with a 4:57.875 on run number 1, wrecked it on run number 2, clips the apron on run number 3, and it's going to come to an end as he slides his way down the mountain.
Well, there's a saying in rallying, trees or trophies. That was certainly the most trees or trophies ever we've seen so far. There were just huge moments everywhere. It was either going to win the event or crash there, and unfortunately it was the latter.
Unfortunate for Jacob Rafos, but 2 Racecraft Rallycross championships this year, or last year I should say, in addition to so many other accomplishments. I don't think that he's too fussed about this. This was a fun event for him to start the calendar year off, and what a competitive way as well. This event, I don't think, has ever had this level of competition. So Garrett Maines, who finished 2nd last year, missed his first run, crashed on the 2nd run, now flying on the 3rd and final attempt.
So what can Maines do? This is an all or nothing as well. No time on the board right now for the number 23 Ford, but looking pretty smooth. Just as I say that, it gets away with it though. Right at 2 wheels up the banking. We've seen many drivers come a cropper there by putting 2 wheels on the banking, but Maines almost using it to his advantage there. Oh, the commitment. Wow.
I mean, there is no lack of commitment here, that is for sure. You could not tell this is the 3rd and final attempt with no other time already on that left side of the screen to fall back on. Who else is still left with runs? Christian Steenberg has just gotten through the opening part, as that's a mistake from Maines. Caught a little bit too much of the inside portion of the hairpin, and fortunate not to go all the way around.
And that will be all that's required to basically kill any chance of a winning run then for Garrett Mains. But despite that mistake, let's see what he can do. I mean, the commitment is just off the scale, and there you go, just a tiny mistake, maybe dropped 2 seconds, second and a half possibly.
But those are the margins at this level. Remember, Lamansivu and Steenberg are separated by 0.4 of a second right now.
Oh, this honestly, this has got to be one of the highlights of the iRacing year. I really believe that. This is seeing sim racers putting cars just to the very limit and beyond on an amazing piece of road. You think this, imagine the four founders of this event. In July 1904, they set up an event up to prove the worth of the automobile. It was originally, the rules said it was for, and I quote, horseless carriages. And here we are now racing it in the virtual form with drivers all around the world. I love it. It's great.
And I don't think you're wrong, but Peter, we are 21 days into the iRacing year. There's still a lot more racing to come. I think that goes to show how highly we're enjoying this event. Steenberg underway for what will be his final attempt at being able to get his way back on top to try and win this event for a third year in a row. What a remarkable accomplishment that would be, and he would do it by jumping to the top of the history books with a world record attempt as well. We'll check back in with him in a few moments' time. Garrett Mains is going to finish things up, though, as he comes towards the very top of the track.
So let's see what Mains can do then. It's been a little bit wild in places, but hugely entertaining from the number 23 Ford driver. Let's see what he can put together. No time on the board right now, but you only need one. Let's see what it's going to be. Oh, riding those bumps really well. Got the car dialed in very nicely. Up towards the line he goes. First sector looking very strong. Likewise second. Let's see what it is.
It's going to be one of those ones where it adds to the time, isn't it? So a 5 becomes a 5:02, and Garrett Mains finished second a year ago. Not going to be better than 8th this year. Only got one valid run in, and, well, it's not a bad run, all things considered. It's only a couple of seconds off of what he did in 2022. Here comes Steenberg, though, on the very top of the climb. He's not the only driver out there right now. You see Josh Edmondson, full focus for him as well.
And Steenberg, he with that second run, he put a big marker down, and Lamansivu just edged it by a fraction of a second. What can Steenberg do? Can he make it 3 on a row? Well, I think, Arjuna, if he is able to do that, he will not have been worked harder.
Given that as well, he's only set one valid run, hasn't he?
Correct.
Yeah, he's been forced to work for this one. How many runs do you think he's done of practice? Not 6,000, surely.
Well, we might get the chance to ask him after the event. Let's see. 454.532 is his best. It's 454.1 he needs to beat, because remember, Lamansivu is after him. Let's see.
Lamansivu not out just yet, so he'll know whether he has to improve or not. Remember, the time's likely to come down before we know what the final number is. Wait for it to strike. It's an improvement, but it's not enough. Steenberg still in second. Ilari Lamansivu knows one contender cannot improve any further. Who is still left to run? Well, Josh Edmondson, Josh Fox. Two drivers still with opportunities to make a statement.
Oh, so for Steenberg, it will not be a third win in the row here on the race to the summit, but he's come up 0.159 of a second short over 7.6 miles. Now, can anyone beat that landmark time of Ilari Lamansivu?
And now Ilari Lamansivu gets an opportunity as well to go for one final run, potentially knowing if he goes after Fox, Swan and Edmondson are done, that no one else realistically has a chance to best the time that he's already set. He gets a glory run effectively, a chance to go out there with nothing on the line except a new world record to beat the one he's already got.
Well, that's the luxurious position if it happens, but let's see what Edmondson can do as he makes his way to the top of the climb in the Nitro Circus Ford. His best lap up to now, a 5-minute flat, so he's got to find a huge amount of time, but who knows?
I saw a question on a RaceBot TV chat, is VR mandatory? It almost feels like that way, isn't it? No, it's just on the dirt road and dirt oval side of things, especially on iRacing. A lot more drivers are in virtual reality. They feel the benefit. Edmondson not happy, by the way. There was a definite shake of the head there, and already the time has ticked over. What was his best? A 5-minute, almost flat, 5:00.008. Edmondson, the driving force behind this event, 3 years in a row, comes to the line, does not improve, I do, but in fact, wait, no, he does. I've got to read the timing screen, Peter, now.
It's got a mind of its own, doesn't it?
Really
yeah,
does.
4:59.583, can confirm that. That was his best run. He did a 5:02.3 in the first run, a 5 flat in the second. So he's improved each time, but he clearly feels like he's got more in the tank.
And, well, ultimately, for him to break into the 5-minute barrier, I think that is an achievement in and of itself. Only 7 drivers today have been able to do so. Here's the Williams Esports machine. Josh Fox elected to represent the Subarus. And, well, he's flown the flag, well, pretty decently, but it's the blue ovals, the 4s, that dominate the timing screen. As I can tell you, Robbie Swan's run has come to an end. Ilari Lamansivu has rolled out onto track, I think, with very little pressure on his final run.
Let's see. Well, can Josh Fox do anything about it? At the moment, he's looking like he's going to claim the unofficial award for the Petro Solberg Cup for the top Subaru. So Josh Fox then for Williams Esports, they've had a great day in iRacing land with a win in the Daytona 24-hour in the top category. Let's see if Josh Fox can add to that silverware in this race to the summit.
Now, I'm just looking through the results of the previous 2 years. Josh Fox has finished 3rd on 2 previous occasions. Will he be able to leapfrog past Buckley and Swan? We are about to find out, with the time to beat for Fox of 4:57. Lamansivu's 4:54.120 not going to be challenged without a shadow of a doubt. Time ticks up for Fox. We expect to be seeing that time cut down at the line, even with a slight mistake that will see a couple of tenths lost from the Pennsylvania native on his run towards the checkered. Race to the summit in the books for Fox, and there's no improvement. It does end up being, though, a 4:57.6, almost identical in terms of times.
A pretty strong run for Josh Fox, just 0.4 of a second slower than his previous best. So now this is effectively a glory lap, an honour lap for Ilari Lamansivu. The driving that this competitor has put in today has been remarkable. He had a 4:57.774 in the first run, then knocked it down to a 7:54, but he's off. But
doesn't matter.
He'd already done the work.
The hard work was done, and it was a world record time, let's not forget. We'll take a look at a couple of replays as we now wait, I think, for the final drivers to finish up. Liam Buckley is heading on out there in the 971. Before we take a look at what happened to Lamansivu from another perspective, let's first check out what happened to, well, Robbie Swan, who, hit a bump and then down into the trees.
And for Swan, coming into that last run in 3rd place, he had to put every little bit of risk into it. There was no little breathe-offs, no little maybe yes, maybe no. It was full attack would be all that would do. And yeah, it can go wrong so quickly, and that perfect example there.
It was in the air as the momentum shifted for the car. Similar, it wasn't the same corner for Lamansivu, but very similar sort of an incident as Lamansivu just drops off the right-hand side. And if you want to know why the times in the sim are quicker than in the real world, well, it's because you're not so scared about doing that in the virtual world, are you?
It does show you, even for someone like Travis Pastrana, self-preservation does kick in at some point.
Crazy to think, isn't it, as well, given everything that he's tried to do to kill himself.
Yeah, he certainly he loves that adrenaline kick. Of course, Liam Buckley can still win this race to the summit in this Ford Fiesta. 4:54.120 for Lamansivu. Lamansivu, I think, has put the best number he can possibly do. So can Buckley beat it? And look at the drivers watching on here with just thinking, is he going to do it? Is he not?
That is Christian Steenberg. That's Robbie Swan that we watch right now, and they are transfixed in front of them. They're just watching and waiting to see what's going to happen. Steenberg, I think, has realized that the win is not his. Swan maybe has also come to the conclusion that third the best that he will get. But ultimately, let's just reiterate, the winning time a year ago, a 4:58.721. 6 drivers, Peter, bested that time today.
It's remarkable. So you would have been, if the winning time last year would have put you 7th this year. That's incredible. Steenberg to take 3 seconds or more off the time. And that benchmark from Lamancevo, 4:54.1. Can Buckley beat it though? It's all down to him.
And, well, we're hoping that we don't get so confused by our timing screens this time. That time, the time that's ticking up does seem somewhat accurate, so about 2:45 through the books, as we're not yet right to the gravel section where things start to get interesting and we've seen a few mistakes. That's where Garrett Maines made his mistake. No such dramas for Liam Buckley as he works his way closer and closer to the gravel. You can see getting a little bit of an airtime there. We mentioned there are no pace notes, but Peter, I am, even at this point, in awe at how knowledgeable these drivers are about the road ahead of them.
Well, we did see a team use a co-driver on one of the years that David Higgins won. He used through reading pace notes. And actually, at Pikes Peak, Michelle Mouton, the first year she did it, she had Fabrizia Pons reading pace notes, but the second year, she basically learnt the circuit and did it on her own. Of course, the benefit being, if you know the circuit absolutely, or if you know the track absolutely inside out, you can save the weight of the co-driver. Although Fabrizia Pons probably weighs about 40 kilos dripping wet, but that's the difference. But let's see what Liam Buckley can do. The amount of preparation that these drivers have put in, I think they know every inch of the place.
I was trying to get a shot. Robbie Swan was getting interrupted by a dog. Fortunate that didn't happen during his run, given that he's in virtual reality.
I love the clip that's been going around on the iRacing social media of a driver in virtual reality who's having his hand chewed off by his dog at the time.
It's a great clip, it really is. There's a bit of damage now on the right front for Liam Buckley because I think he had a bad landing, not entirely cattywampus on the jump there before the yoink on the handbrake potentially through the left-hander, but a little bit of drama, that's for sure. Looking a little bit harried at this point, a little bit rushed.
I think he's on a good number though. I think he's tracking for a very good time, but that damage on the front right could just take him away in this final second.
What's it going to be? Here we go through what will be the final couple of corners, and again we expect the time to chop down once Buckley gets to the line. So the 9:71 will be, I think, the final driver to set a time in this 2023 Race to the Summit presented by Next Level Racing. World record time to beat of a 4:54.120. Not necessarily where Buckley's looking, it's a 4:57. The order stays as is. Ilari Lamancevo, the conqueror of Mount Washington for this event.
Oh, congratulations to Ilari Lamancevo and all the drivers here for putting on an amazing display of driving and of motorsport. Christian Steenberg, we saw a lot of his onboard footage of the lap he set, and it was just remarkable to marvel at that driving ability. But 4:54.1, a world record required to win.
There's the dog, by the way, making its presence known. There is no saying no to that pupper. As well, by the way, hyperspace has disappeared for Tyler Campbell. Instead, Will Power on the box is telling him all about the strategies to hit the wall and keep going. Those are the drivers, of course, that are just finished and wrapping things up. Always great to be able to get the extra level of insight into what has happened. We'll grab a quick look at our unofficial results, then hopefully grab a word with some of our winners with our drivers as well before we'll say goodbye for what has been a really fun return of this great event. Havu Ilari Lamancevo, 4:54.120. It's a new world record and it's a win for the Flying Finn. He wins a GT Elite cockpit and an ERS2 seat, while Christian Steenberg unfortunately doesn't make it 3 wins in a row, but he still grabs second and a GT Racer cockpit, courtesy of course of Next Level Racing. Robbie Swan grabs third, 2.4 seconds off, and I think very much proved to himself that he was worthy of being up there in the fight. He gets a HF8 haptic feedback gaming pad. And then behind them, Josh Fox, Jacob Rafoss, Liam Buckley, Josh Edmondson, Garrett Main, Zach Blanche, and Yoni Palaneva as we begin to get into those drivers who finished just outside of the 5-minute bracket. David Schofield, Stead Miller, Toby Ward, and then Francois Martel, Justin Robichaud, the best of the Robichauds today, Augustin Deluin, Connor Parisi, Lindsay Hobbs, Sean Winkler, and then Tyler Campbell in front of Jake Robichaud. And one driver, technically I think with no time on the board, but Trevor Teal was in there, did not get to finish things off. So a look at the results, but now let's see if we can jump in and talk with some of the drivers. Let's bring in Josh Edmondson from the Nitro Circus Sim Racing team. Josh, talk to us a little bit about that. You broke into the 5-minute barrier, but the times, boy, they were flying today.
Yeah, that was absolutely crazy. Sorry, I don't know if you guys can hear me now. I got my headset back on.
Loud and clear. We got you in VR as well. You had to put the headset back on to talk to us, huh?
Yeah. You got kind of caught me off guard there. I was just sitting here reviewing some stuff, but yeah, man, that was an awesome event. Those times at the top were just crazy fast. Obviously, world records, and yeah, it was really cool to see. I just made some mistakes on my runs, and first couple sectors I was down 1 or 2 seconds, so I couldn't really make that time up. But overall, happy with putting in a sub 5 minute, and just wish I would have been able to clean it up a bit.
Well, I think we calculated it out that the top 6 would have finished in front of the winner last year just based on the time, so it goes to show the evolution. As you reflect now on 3 years of this race to the summit, heading into another year of Racecraft action, I mean, it's crazy to think how far things have come.
Yeah, it's wild. Obviously, I have to shout out Next Level Racing. They helped us take this event to the next level. No pun intended again this year. It's crazy that the time attack qualifying was awesome to see all the times and the amount of people that put in effort and runs to try and qualify. And then of course just the level of competition at the top. It's insane to see. So yeah, huge shout out to Next Level Racing. I'm stoked to be working with them, and I can't wait for the next one.
Before we let you go, let's talk about the other news from this past week. Nitro Circus no longer a bunch of dirt scallywags. You're going big time. You're going eNASCAR.
Yeah, man. Yeah, Teal, the team manager, and our team here, Blake Reynolds, the eNASCAR guy, he really helped, and we got that eNASCAR team put together, so we got some guys to root on this season. I'm really stoked for that, and just keep growing the team. We got the live sim demo out at Nitro Cross, when we're going to be in Vegas coming up here soon. So yeah, it's big things on the horizon for Nitro Circus Sim Racing and Nitro Cross and everybody involved.
Well, congratulations on another great race to the summit, Josh. Congratulations on breaking the 5-minute barrier as well, and looking forward to seeing you plenty more on RaceBot TV this year.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you guys for broadcasting it.
Of course, always love it. Josh Edmondson joins us, and we'll make our way down to the winner, Ilari Lamin-Sivu, standing by with Peter Mackay.
Ilari, that was some of the best driving I've seen in my career of commentating on iRacing. Congratulations on the win. Just tell us how you're feeling right now.
Thank you. I really feel great and relieved. I have practiced so much, and nowadays I expect so much from myself. So kind of first place was the only place that I was looking for.
And well, very well deserved. Tell us about the kind of times you're aiming at. The time you've been, we believe it's an unofficial world record for the Mount Washington hill climb. Is that right up there with the quickest you've gone, or is there even better times in the tank?
It depends, of course, of the weather itself and the clock time what was in the iRacing. So of course I have thrown a bit faster, but for that weather, I would say it's really like maybe only half a second left there.
Wow, that's quite remarkable. And tell us, this is something that's a little bit different from what we normally see in iRacing community and iRacing competition. What would you say to people who are sitting watching this? Should we have more of this in the iRacing world?
Yeah, of course. At the moment, this is the only hill climb track on iRacing, so I'm really waiting more.
Maybe we could even get some rally stages as well.
Yeah, that would be lovely. I mean, rally is probably my favorite sport to follow, so that will be really great.
Well, Larry, you've definitely you've lived up to the name of the Flying Finn. Fantastic victory in this event. Well done.
Yeah, thank you, thank you.
Nice little catch up there with the Havu gaming driver Ilari Lam Sivu. Let's see if we can continue talking to some of the drivers by now catching up with, I believe, Robbie Swan, who joins us now. Robbie, do we have a copy with you? I think you can hear. Oh, now we can hear you as well, Robbie. That was great. I mean, what a run that you started things off from, and you said on the commentator information form, 6,000 attempts in the last 3 months. How good was that run against all of those other attempts?
A couple seconds off my best pace, but I will say that I've never run as quick as the top two did, so I don't have any qualms about finishing third. I'm super proud about that finish. I really felt like an underdog coming into this, so I knew I had to put in the hard work.
Proved yourself, that is for sure, and you've linked up with the guys over at Racecraft. How's that helped you with your confidence and in your preparation in the build-up to this?
Having a good community around you is super important. Being able to bounce ideas off of people, test setups with people. Joining the Racecraft Academy team's been extremely helpful to my dirt road racing. Josh and Teal and all those guys are really helpful and really nice guys.
Tell us about the pup's name, by the way. We caught a glimpse.
That's Gus. He wants some camera time.
Oh, he got some. Don't you worry about that. Robbie, congratulations on making a bit of a statement. I hope to yourself as well. Great run, and hoping that rest of 2024 goes your way as well.
Thank you very much.
Robbie Swan joins us in the commentary booth. And now we'll make our way over to, well, unfortunately not the defending race winner, but Christian Steenberg standing by with Peter Mackay.
Christian, a two-time winner of this event. Just tell us how hard you were going there. Went much quicker than you set to win it last year, but what was that like out there?
Yeah, so when I joined the session, I noticed that the session actually had dynamic sky, so the first run would be the quickest because of like 22 track temp, and by the end it was around 30, so I went full push on the first run. I stepped towards the top, so that was disappointing. And my second run, I clipped my rear left on the tree on the very first corner, so that damage just slowed me down for the rest of the run, and then last run I just kept sliding, didn't have the grip.
So a frustrating run for you. I mean, just try and describe to us the level that we've got to tonight. You guys are both yourself and our overall winner, Larry. You're underneath the world record. I mean, just tell us how hard you're pushing out there.
Yeah, pushing pretty hard in these attempts, and also especially with all the pressure with it being a live event, we're pretty much on the limit.
And tell us about what you'd like to see in future. You know, this has been such a enjoyable event for us from a spectating point of view. What would you like to see iRacing do to develop this type of content on the platform?
Yeah, either like hill climb dedicated cars, because right now we're just using the rallycross ones, or I guess more hill climbs such as Pike Peak or another track.
Well, I agree with you. We need to start a campaign, Christian, to get those on there. I tell you what, you gave us some amazing entertainment tonight. It came down to just 0.159 of a second, but second place still. You should be very proud of that. Well done.
Yep, thank you.
Like Peter mentioned, that margin of victory, 0.159 of a second. Peter, we've commentated on road races, sprint races, where the margin of victory is larger than that. This was a hill climb. Two drivers left to their own devices, pushing to 10/10 and finding themselves split by those narrow margins. Like Christian mentioned, with the pressure of the live event as well.
That you definitely...
Oh, we lost Peter, unfortunately.
You definitely can't underestimate that, how much that pressure of the live event comes in. In practice, you can relax a little bit more and the car can flow, and for some it works better. Some you can see where that little bit of extra adrenaline works well. I think it did for Ilari tonight, that's for certain. But yeah, definitely something that the drivers have to contend with, particularly on that kind of one run format.
Yes, and you know, when you talk about the limited runs, it's something where I was talking with Zach Campbell about the iRacing Indy 500 versus private Indy 500s that people have hosted with limited runs, and he says there's no real way to compare them because of the pressure that comes with it. And so similar sort of a situation. Great to hear Christian talking about that. Big thank you, of course, as well to our partners at Next Level Racing for making this possible. You can use the promo code RTTS to get 5% off the USA store by heading to nextlevelracing.com. Our winners grabbing a GT Elite Cockpit, the ERS2 seat, GT Racer, and haptic feedback gaming pad across to the podium, as well as a random participation prize even to any of the other drivers in the field. They make all of this possible at the end of the day, Peter, so great to have their support. And this is a great idea that's rooted in normal motorsport. Usually our Next Level Racing event, Peter, they're crazy things like elimination races at Oran Park.
That's what we like to see, that variety coming through. I want to see some more Knock Hill events too. We'll need to get our heads together and see what we can do there. But this tonight, the Race to the Summit, big congratulations to the organisers for putting on such an amazing event, and to the drivers. They really were at the peak of performance in the virtual motorsport world. Just a treat to watch it.
They were the stars of the show without a shadow of a doubt. And well, it's been a while since the last Race to the Summit. Hopefully not as long before we go once again. Christian Steenberg deposed as the double champion. Ilari Laminsivu, the Flying Finn, comes out on top in this 2023 Next Level Racing Race to the Summit. On behalf of our team behind the scenes, for our partners at Racecraft, for our team at RaceSpot, Peter Mackay alongside myself, Arjuna Kankipati, thank you so much for joining us. It's been a busy day, a weekend, week of motorsports in the virtual world. It comes to an end in a really spectacular fashion. Hill Climb's tense action sees Ilari Laminsivu, Christian Steenberg split by just over a 1/10.5 of a second after a wild ride in the Next Level Racing Race to the Summit.